talk about division equations. Just like addition and subtraction equations and multiplication equations, we will use the inverse operation to solve. And the inverse of division is multiplication. And I'm just going to use the X to symbolize that instead of writing out that entire word. Now, division equations do end up being more challenging for students, perhaps because of the way that it's written in a fraction form like this. And perhaps it's just a little bit harder for them to grasp that format. But what we're doing is undoing what was done to the variable. So in this first example, this variable x was divided by 7. So we took something, we divided it by 7, and we got 13. And so to undo that, we need to multiply the 13 to get the original number. And so we would multiply by 7 over here. And this is where showing this work gets a little tricky for students. We're also multiplying by 7 over here. And so when we put that 7 in the numerator part of this fraction, we now have 7 over 7. And it ends up looking a little bit like the dividing that we did with our multiplication equations. When we solved, we ended up dividing by 7 and putting it down here. Now we're multiplying by 7, so we're putting it up here in the numerator. 7 divided by 7 becomes 1. And that is how we end up getting rid of the 7 on this side of the equation. That's how we end up undoing it. So we had divided x by 7. We have to multiply it by 7 to undo that division. And so in this way, we are left with a variable of x, and 13 times 7 is 91. And then to check that, we would put the 91 in for the x in the equation, and we would do 91 divided by 7, and maybe actually do that division instead of just saying, yep, it works. 7 into 9 goes one time. We subtract 7. That leaves us with 2. Bring down the 1. 7 goes into 21 3 times, and that is 13. And I like using problems like these where they don't automatically know the answer, because in some situations, if this had been, say, x divided by 9 equals 6, they might easily say, well, I know 54 divided by 9 is 6, and then they would solve it mentally rather than going through the steps and thinking about it just a little bit more and thinking about how they have to multiply both sides by 9 in order to correctly solve that. And we want them to have that foundation of how to do that, how to undo that operation, so that as they move forward into more complicated equations, they have that foundation with them. All right, 13 divided equals x divided by 12. So some number was divided by 12. In order to undo that, we multiply by 12, and we multiply this side by 12 as well to keep it balanced. We do the same thing to both sides. If we do it to the right, we have to do it to the left, and vice versa. This 12 divided by 12 drops out, and we're left with just x. And 12 times 13. How much is 12 times 13? That's a hard one for students. If they think about it, 12 times 12 is 144. So they could still do this mentally if they don't get too overwhelmed by it. 12 times 12 is 144, and then 144 plus another 12 is 156. So we could take time to show them how to do some of those mentally so that they don't get overwhelmed. Like, how can we break it down into a smaller problem? They could also have done, say, 12 times 10. 12 times 10 would give them 120. And then they could do 12 times 3. And that's using the distributive property. 12 times 3 is 36. And 120 plus 36 is 156. So we can break that down into different ways and show them how they can do it without just the traditional algorithm. So if I'm going to check this, I'm sorry, I wrote 12. 13 is equal to 156 divided by 12. And again, I'm going to show that division. 12 into 156. 12 goes into 15 one time. Subtract 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. 36. 12 goes into 36. 3 times, and that does give us 13. So what we want to get down to is, do both sides of this equation equal the same thing? I didn't write it over here. 91 divided by 7 is 13. Well, they're both 13. If these did not equal each other and we ended up with, 9 equals 13 or 15 equals 13, we would know we had an incorrect solution. Example 3, x divided by 9 is 14. X was divided by 9, so to undo that, we multiply by 9. Multiply by 9. Those drop out. Let's see, mental math with this one. 10 times 9 is 90. 4 times 9 is 36. So that gives us 126. And then we would go through the checking again. 126 divided by 9. I won't go through all the steps for that. And last one, something divided by 11 is 6. Now this one they might be able to figure out pretty easily. We had divided by 11, so we have to fix by multiplying by 11. Undo by multiplying by 11. And 6 times 11 on this side. So 11 divided by 11 drops out to just be 1x. And 6 times 11 is 66. And again with the checking, 66 divided by 11 is 6. And hopefully students do realize 66 divided by 11 is 6. Both sides are equal. So 66 is the solution for x. Let me know if you have any questions.